What's going on, guys? TG or ThunderGod here, and today with me, I got the IT group for figuring out Kage's YouTube podcast.
Bro, y'all gotta leave me alone. I swear. I swear I'm working on a video. I swear I'm working on a video. Y'all are gonna. It's good. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Anyway, today, we're doing a pretty interesting video. Today, we're doing if Sage Mode Naruto went to the 5 Kage Summit. It's a fire upload. I got these two dudes on here. You know them. It's going to be good vibes. We could just get straight into this.
Yeah, so just to clarify, I'm sure everybody knows what we're talking about, but we're saying 5 Kage Summit Sage Mode Naruto. So this is timeline appropriate. We're not pulling War Arc or Pain Arc Naruto and putting them in here. There's not really a difference, at least not a visible difference, between Pain Arc and like 5 Kage Summit. You could say he's like a little bit more used to Sage Mode. So we'll probably take into account that he has fought using the form before, but he's obviously not as proficient with it as he is in the War Arc. That's like the main difference here, I guess.
Naruto should be coming in stronger at the beginning of 5 Kage Summit Sasuke. Zetsu himself outright states this, and even though you could argue, well, Zetsu doesn't exactly know how strong Sasuke is, due to Naruto sensing a stronger variant of Sasuke in his fight with Kakashi, along with higher speeds from that Sasuke, should put him a decent bit above the beginning of 5 Kage Summit Sasuke, with Sasuke growing throughout the summit and just closing that gap. If you think Sasuke is stronger, that's entirely fair. I'm more so noting that Naruto should be stronger at the beginning of the summit, and when you think Sasuke closes that gap, maybe you think he closes it at the peak of the 5 Kage Summit or Danzo fight, doesn't really matter. What more so matters is that Naruto just scales above the beginning of 5 Kage Summit.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine that everyone's just as mad at Naruto as they were at Sasuke, so they're not like, holding back in anything. Like, hey, he's not gonna hop into the fight in base form or something like that. We're not gonna do something unfair like that.
So starting off, we're going to talk about Naruto versus the Raikage. This is a pretty interesting one, and we'll start off by saying this. V1 Raikage, if he starts out the fight in V1, it's just going to be like a complete ape fest. It's not going to be a good look. Sasuke is able to react to like his linear movements with the Sharingan in conjunction with Chidori, maybe amping his speed. He's able to further react to him with the Susanoo later on, like pull himself out the way with the Susanoo arm. So V1 Raikage isn't that threatening. You have people like Suigetsu and Juga who can also combat him. So it's not too much for that Naruto, unless you're going to somehow argue that Suigetsu is just beating up Sage Mode Naruto. Nothing too crazy there. What do y'all think? What's your opinion on this?
Sorry, you go ahead.
Well, I think like the immediate response most people would have to that is, the Raikage moving on par with KCM1 Naruto. It's just important to say, like, we're not saying Sage Mode Naruto is as fast as KCM1 Naruto, but Sage Mode Naruto has those reactions. He's the reaction guy. So that's how he's going to be able to combat the Raikage this time around as opposed to how he was in KCM. Because even in KCM, Naruto can block the Raikage's punches and whatnot. That's not the problem. The problem is he can't get past him, which is what he wants to do. They're not directly fighting there. It's just Naruto trying to get past him so he can actually enter the war.
It's a speed test.
Yeah, the 100%. Main thing with the Raikage there is it's sort of like Naruto can't outrun him. The Raikage is outpacing Naruto in terms of movement, but we see later on in the war that with Sage Mode he's able to react to another Raikage. So just imagine that Naruto's Sage Mode precog functions kind of similar to Sasuke's. Like, use Sasuke's Sharingan precog as like a basis for how we think that Naruto's Sage Mode precog is going to work. Honestly, I think that Sage Mode's is a little bit better, but they do work differently. But just imagine that they work kind of similarly for the purposes of this video, right? So if the Raikage tries to throw out any linear attacks at Naruto, like, say, a lariat, Naruto's just going to be able to weave it and hit him with a Rasengan.
Yep. Bro, I also forgot. We're throwing Kakashi and Yamato in this bitch.
Oh, right, yeah. So another thing, this isn't just Sage Mode Naruto to make it fair, because Sasuke also had help. He had Suigetsu, Karin, and Juga. No, we're not going to give Naruto 3 people. We're just going to give him Kakashi and Yamato. But the fact that it's Kakashi and Yamato, I think makes up for the fact that it's only 2 people, because those 2 are probably like overall of a higher quality than the rest of Taka.
Yeah, so I 100% agree with you, like, guys. V1 Raikage, Naruto should be able to combat. V2 is the bigger issue, obviously. And most people are aware of this. He's going to go into V2. He's going to stack Body Flicker. And this will just make him outright faster than Sage Mode Naruto. as you know, he's on par with like a faster form of Naruto. These are the objectives, and the reaction time is what's going to mitigate this. Now, there's a couple different ways to look at this. You can look at the Raikage's lightning style taijutsu and how this would be effective on Naruto. If you go under the idea that superior form to KCM Naruto, the Raikage may struggle to actually just put down Naruto with his lightning style taijutsu, as he's only applied to be like a Tsunade rival in terms of strength, really in base. He can't really break QB Naruto's guard when he's like punching him, and Naruto knows his punches are heavy. So you actually may be able to make a case his lightning style taijutsu may not be that effective, with Naruto's main fighting style kind of being like counter blows and then durability negation, all these crazy things. So there is a lot he can do. It's just kind of like, how can he overcome the Raikage like darting around? He's kind of have to come up with a different like strategy, kind of similar to Sasuke.
I mean, it's mainly just gonna have to be predicting. Like, imagine Naruto's playing a fighting game. He's gonna have to get like hard reads on the Raikage in order to beat him at that point, if he is darting around. I think a good point is, you know, that the Raikage doesn't really use body flicker all that often. I mean, even in the fight with Madara, even when Inoki's amping him on his back, he's not using V2 all the time. It probably just consumes way too much chakra to, you know, maintain throughout the entire fight. But really, it's gonna have to be hard reads if Naruto wants to beat him. He shouldn't have any trouble really damaging him. I don't really see that being an issue.
I agree with that. I also agree with the hard reads thing. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Naruto to adapt to how fast the Raikage is, because this is going to be the fastest person he's ever fought, for sure. And even when he's in KCM, which is a form that allows him to move overall more quickly than Sage Mode does, he's like blown away. He's really surprised by the fact that the Raikage is constantly able to, stop him from moving forward or past him, right? Like the Raikage is just, for the most part in that fight, definitely at the beginning, pretty much up until the end, the Raikage is faster than him, right? So Naruto struggles to get used to that. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time in this setting, since, here he wouldn't have fought A before either, to adjust to the fact that he's fighting somebody this fast who's just blatantly way faster than him. I think he would be able to do it, though. He's pretty smart. He's able to intuit a lot of things. He's come up with plans to beat people who are stronger than him plenty of times in the past before. So, maybe he'd be able to do some clone feints or something like that. Maybe he'd be able to bait A into doing like a linear attack like the Lariat that I mentioned earlier, and then he'd be able to weave it like he did against the third Raikage and hit him with a Rasengan. But like Six said, as soon as the feint gets set up, or as soon as he reads the Raikage, whatever, as soon as he creates an avenue that's going to allow him to damage A, I don't think it's going to take very many hits for him to put him down. Sage Naruto is really, really, really strong. He's just like invalidating the paths of pain, putting them down with single attacks. And the Asura Path, for example, is pretty durable. It's not like crazy or anything, but it eats a couple of attacks that would normally kill other characters, like Choji's Super Slap and the Raikiri from Kakashi, like back to back, and it's still functional. Whereas Naruto is just able to blow the whole thing up with a single Rasengan while in Sage Mode. And he takes out all the other paths of pain with individual attacks. Like, none of them take more than like one or two to get completely taken out of the fight. So I think that even though A is pretty tough, I think like if Naruto hits him with, those two Odama Rasengans that he used against the Animal Path summons, I think that's going to take a big chunk out of A's health bar, for example.
Yeah, I definitely think
Naruto. Let's remember.
Oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, TJ.
No, I was gonna say I definitely think Naruto has the AP here. We can see in like the war with granted this is like War Arc, but it is a shadow clone of Naruto, and if you're assuming like his base didn't grow that much, can just tear down the lightning cloak and damage the third past it. A lot of people get the whole like Rasen Shuriken's limit. This guy can't be taken down with the Rasen Shuriken point misconstrued in my opinion. The third Raikage is just somebody who can't be one-shot by the Rasen Shuriken. He's still damaged heavily by it, and Naruto can affect him with smaller variants of the Rasengan. So he is coming in with like pretty strong in the AP department and AoE because this is an enclosed space, and the Rasen Shuriken's a massive move.
Plus, the Rasen Shuriken has the elemental advantage here, and Sasuke was able to bypass the Lightning Cloak with just a regular, like an elementally neutral jutsu that's also way weaker than the Rasen Shuriken is. So, if Naruto tosses a Rasen Shuriken, like if that gets lobbed, I think A is just taken out in one shot. But I think that Naruto is going to have to be conservative with moves like that because of the fact that he's up against all 5 Kage and all of their aides.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Like Sasuke was able to pierce the lightning cloak with the Chidori, In Naruto, I mean, granted, Sasuke is blind at the time. I think everyone can agree Sage Mode's at least a Sharingan level amp. Obviously, that means, if they were to clash, Rasengan to Chidori, they would still tie if Naruto was in Sage Mode and Sasuke had his Sharingan on. But the point is, Naruto should be able to get through the Raikage's cloak the same way Sasuke did. And Naruto can double his AP at any time if he just uses 2 Rasengan.
Yep. No, I agree with that.
He has the Rasengan Barrage that he used against Pain. There's also... I don't know if he would use this because he never uses it again after he first demonstrates it when he enters the fight against Kakazu. But because Wind is strong against Lightning, if he doesn't want to go for like a full-blown Rasen Shuriken, he can maybe use the like shitty like Wind style Rasengan to get through A's armor. I think that's worth mentioning. But since he never really uses it after this, maybe there's something wrong with it. I don't know. Maybe there's something that would keep him from pulling it out in a fight. But I just thought it was worth bringing up because of the elemental advantage, like I said.
I mean, he could even combo with Yamato and like cancel out that jutsu that Kakashi was preparing to combo and do that same kind of like water jutsu as well. So it's just like there are variations like he can add to that to add what you're saying. But no, I think Wind's definitely a big issue, especially with it just being like the highest battle power of the nature releases, him having the good matchup. It's just kind of like it should be possible for Naruto to close a dub here. He has the correct toolkit. It's just kind of like how he responds in this specific situation. And then you have his support with like Kakashi and Yamato. And I mean, these kind of speak for themselves. Like Kakashi, has phenomenal feats in the 5 Kage Summit. He can fight, 5 Kage Summit Sasuke, for example, a stronger variant of him. Yamato's a little less impressive, but you could maybe argue he's greater than Fu and Torine due to being at the top of the Anbu. Granted, this is stated to be from the Thirds range, so you could say maybe it's not current or it doesn't, take into account like the current forms of Fu and Torine, but they are good support in this matchup. And like Kakashi's just washing Dari 1v1. There's not really too much to argue with that. Yamato, I mean, what does C do? What light pillar? You think Kakashi's not going to be able to break everybody out of that Genjutsu? So it's like, there's not really too much here issue-wise for them to deal with in this situation. So I think this group definitely has the correct toolkit to break through this initial barrier. It's just kind of like how Naruto goes about mitigating the Raikage's advantage with clones, long-range AoE, counter-strikes, reaction. And then like if Kakashi and Yamato finish up, that's amazing support against the Raikage.
I want to say that I think it's equally, I think that both fighters have, the possibility of victory here. Both of them could win this fight, but I would lean towards Naruto. The only thing that A has is speed, which is a big deal, right? If your opponent can't hit you and you can hit them, then there's no way for them to really win. But thanks to Sage Mode and the fact that Naruto is clever, and, we've seen Sasuke take steps to nullify the speed advantage, I think it's totally possible for Naruto to win here. Especially because, like we were saying, he's better than A in pretty much every other area. Durability, attack power... he definitely has better utility jutsu thanks to shadow clones and stuff, and he has so many jutsu that could heavily damage A, and one that we know for sure could probably just kill him outright, the Rasen Shuriken. So I think that Naruto could definitely handle this, and Kakashi and Yamato are taking out C and Darui with no issues, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, assuming that like Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro pull up, this is a bit more interesting. I'll say this about the Gaara. I don't think Gaara's as fast as the Raikage sand-wise, at least not at this point. I think those feats are more prevalent in the war. Some people point to like him reacting to a Amaterasu. I don't agree with that. I think he reacts to like a Amaterasu Wisps. Even the Raikage like dropping the guillotine drop on him. It's not like he's using body flicker in that instance. He is just like the data book notes that it is like a quick jutsu, but he is like falling on Sasuke, and it is a noticeable speed difference because Sasuke can react to those linear falling movements compared to the Raikage darting around with Kagetsuchi. So it has to be slower, which Gaara reacts to, and we don't even know where Gaara is on that. So Gaara's sand speed probably isn't gonna be like super, it's not going to be the same thing as the Raikage's like V2 body flicker. It's not going to be like that big of an issue in the sense that like Naruto's going to have to work up all these strategies to get around the sand. It's more so, can Naruto just like outright break through the sand? I feel like there's a pretty good case for it. Gaara's sand, like defense wise, it's a little harder to gauge at this point in the series. So what do you guys
initially,
think about
obviously,
it?
I was of the
Gaara's sand
opinion
defense right now?
Gaara sand blocked Amaterasu. TG showed me the thing. Sasuke says he doesn't say he blocked the Amaterasu. He says he's good at blocking his Inton. I still think the Sand is pretty fast, maybe even being able to block the Amaterasu, because Sasuke follows it up with your absolute defense is still going strong. So it kind of seems like he's saying, hey, you know, you could block my Amaterasu. And it also doesn't seem like Inton should be that much slower than Amaterasu. I mean, Sasuke does control it with the same eyes. It seems like maybe it's a variant that just consumes less chakra or something like that. That's just me guessing. But Sasuke is saying that Gaara's absolute defense is still going strong. That gives me hope in the Sand, at the very least.
One thing I will argue is that if you kind of want a comparison, like Naruto's Rasen Shuriken should just be outright above like the vacuum blast that tore through like the back of Sasuke's like stronger Susanoo variant, with like that obviously being amped by the Baku. But I mean, if you look at it like that, you know, a stronger winch style should do better damage if you want to compare it like that to a better defense than like the one Gaara's being compared to, because Sasuke follows that up with, oh, my defense is even greater than yours now. So after like confirming through like Enton or Amaterasu, whichever you think, after he confirms that. So if you kind of look at it like that, there is a good precedent to suggest like Naruto would be able to damage that Sand. Or if like you want to be kind of like different, you could just say like Kakashi sees like Gaara's head peeking through and just Kamui snipes him through the little sand or something like that. Like you can make some crazy arguments here. So I definitely think he would be able to do well against Gaara, whether that be like Odama or Rasengan's. I think Tamari and Kankura are absolute garbage support. I don't think they make any difference in this situation at all. You know what I mean? I don't think they really add too much to the encounter. It's literally just like Sage Mode Naruto with maybe like one Rasen Shuriken left in his charge. Kakashi and Yamato versus like 5 Kage Summit Gaara. And it's like, you know, while he can do well, it's like it's kind of a similar thing. Like Naruto has a lot of firepower, a lot of the same arguments. And then you also have like another Kage level fighter in the form of Kakashi, and then Yamato as support. It just seems like a pretty good matchup. You know what I mean?
So I have a couple things I want to say. So one thing that's interesting about Gaara versus Naruto here is Six said at the beginning of the video, we want all of the Kage to be as mad at Naruto as they were at Sasuke during the original 5 Kage Summit. But Gaara hesitated to kill Sasuke. I don't think he was going at him with killer intent right away. You know, he tries to talk him down, understand why Sasuke is doing what he's doing. He tries to get through to Sasuke the same way that Naruto got through to him back in part 1. So since he's fighting Naruto and Naruto's like Gaara's idol, I think it's very easy to argue that for no matter what the context is, no matter what the reason is for Naruto tearing through the summit, I think that Gaara's gonna like enter this fight fairly sympathetic to Naruto and isn't gonna go in with killer intent the same way he did with Sasuke. And like, even if you don't think so, just for the sake of keeping it consistent, you know, we can say that Gaara's not, like, at max output, like, bloodlusted or anything, right from the start here, right? But again, I think that that makes sense for Gaara in character, so that's pretty convenient. Now, bearing that in mind, I think that a non-bloodlusted Gaara is going to have a really hard time doing anything to take Naruto out completely. I mean, I think that he's going to start this fight not really even trying to put Naruto down or anything. Like Tamari and Kankuro, they might try to kill him or something, but Gaara is going to be a little bit more hesitant, and that's going to give Naruto some openings that he might not have had otherwise. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is I think you guys did a good job covering most things, but with the Rasen Shuriken against Gaara's Sand, I don't know if it matters how fast the Sand is or how durable it is, because the Rasen Shuriken is this gigantic AoE explosion, right?
Yeah.
So if Naruto throws it at the Sand, one half of the explosion could be on one side of the Sand, and the other half could just go around whatever Sand that Gaara doesn't have there, and then just kill Gaara like that anyway. Like you said, Kakashi could use Kamui, but even if Gaara doesn't have like an opening in the sand that lets Kakashi use Kamui to take his head off, Kakashi could just Kamui a hole in the sand that would allow Naruto to throw like an Odama or a Sengon through it, or a Rasen Shuriken like we were saying. So I just don't think Gaara winning here is very likely. Naruto will probably be a little bit tired because of his fight with A, But I don't think he'll be so tired that like Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro can beat him, Kakashi, and Yamato at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, and to like add to that, because I know you brought that up too. Like Raikage does have like a good like standing to also just potentially breach through Gaara's sand, as it's a little bit stronger than Chidori. Has phenomenal piercing properties. Obviously, it's like a bit debatable because it's kind of weirder to discuss like how strong Kakashi's Raikage is at this point of the series. But if you do assume it's like some level relative to like Sasuke's as well, like there's a good discussion to have on that. Like it would just be able to pierce through as well. So I agree with what you're saying. I don't think like the defense only argument like is gonna give like it just kind of stalls out how long Gaara can survive as opposed to just giving him a win con, because there's nothing really crazy he has at this point that would just necessarily put the group down, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I do think they clear this section.
Plus, Naruto can just run around the sand with clones and stuff. I think this group just has so many ways to bypass Gaara's defense. And Gaara doesn't really have any win conditions here. So unless he's able to like stall out until like Onoki I was gonna say or Mei, but really just until like Onoki gets there. Yeah. There's not really anything he's gonna be able to do to win. Now, if he were fighting alongside A or alongside Onoki, then I think Gaara would be particularly dangerous. But because this is under the same circumstances as when Sasuke went to the 5 Kage Summit, I just don't see how Gaara is supposed to win here.
And there's like things like Naruto could just break the room in a similar capacity with like the AoE.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the Susanoo, but he could blow up the room with like the Rasengan or a Rasen Shuriken or even using summons. Because that's something we haven't even mentioned yet. He has 3 big ass frog summons that he can just sink on the Kage whenever he wants.
Like imagine Naruto throwing because you know it's a big explosion. Imagine Naruto throwing a Rasen Shuriken into the Kage Summit room like a smoke bomb. And it just kills all of them.
Man,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
It's bad, yeah. Or like hops up on Gamabunta and like throws 2 at the building from the outside, like the room they're chilling in at the top of the summit. There's like just these nasty strategies they could do. So it's like, dude,
I do think that there's some advantage to them being in the room, because them being in the room, that limits Onoki, because, you know, he can fly. Obviously, Naruto can't. So if Inoki's unable to fly, Naruto just has, you know, access to him all the time. Because as tall as that room is, Naruto could definitely, you know, jump that.
Yeah.
There are some advantages to having the room.
Yeah.
So before I guess we get into Naruto fighting Onoki and Mei, we should say that at this point, Kakashi, and Yamato are going to be running down like a big long hallway, so Naruto's gonna have time to recharge his Sage Mode, maybe create 2 more clones that can recharge his Sage Mode. And now the clones being out in the open might be a problem in case like some samurai run into them or some of the other Kage run into them. So
yeah, because the Raikage runs like past that same hallway when they're like going back to the Kage room as well. So yeah, continue what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
So what Naruto could do is make some clones and have Kakashi put them in Kamui. And now you guys might be thinking like, well, if Naruto pops the clones, will the chakra from the Kamui dimension make its way back to him? I can't say definitively, but I'm pretty sure it would, because so we know that like chakra can pass through from the dimension to the quote-unquote real world. When we see in the war that Kakashi's able to see through Obito's other eye, while like Jubito is fighting Naruto, Sasuke, and the rest of the alliance, right? Like Kakashi just starts getting these visions of, you know, like what Obito is seeing, and we see that Sasuke is able to summon his hawk in Kaguya's dimension and stuff like that. So I don't think that the time space is going to be a big barrier to I don't think it's going to stop Naruto from accessing his Sage Mode chakra. So Kakashi will be able to put the clones in Kamui so that he has at least 2 clones on standby for this next round of fights.
If you want like a Naruto example, like a Naruto specific example of that, in Boruto, Naruto gives Kawaki an arm that's powered by his chakra. And even when Naruto is sent into another dimension by Ishiki, that arm is still being powered by that chakra. And it requires like a constant outflux. Like Naruto's like maintaining this arm, it would be similar to maintaining a shadow clone.
Yeah.
So it's not just something that's on all the time.
Yeah. And Sasuke can also just sense Naruto's chakra across like other dimensions as well, just to like add to that. So it just there's a lot to suggest that. So yeah, moving into this Kage Summit room where you have like Mei, Onoki. We'll just say Danzo like runs out, like does his like bitch made and just like dips from the room. I think that's fine, just so you can have that like big boss fight at the end of the summit. So it kind of leaves like Naruto versus like Mei, Chojuro. Ao dips after Danzo, and then you have Onoki, Akatsuchi, and then Kitsuchi's back in the initial room. So, kind of looking at that, it's a little interesting. Onoki's definitely the bigger problem. The reason is because Mei's arsenal, the biggest one being like Boil Release, it can't really be used in a room with the other Kage because it's gonna friendly fire them. So she would kind of have to get Naruto in an isolated room, which she's not. Here's the thing: even if she got Naruto into that same situation that Sasuke was in. It's not like
LOL.
Yeah, she's done. She's cooked. It's not like dudes are acting like Sasuke wasn't gonna continue fighting as he was getting burned. He literally just happened to burn out at that moment. Now, granted, she probably would be able to affect Naruto because she is melting the Susanoo, but still, like he would probably still be able to fight while he's maintaining that damage, or just like break a hole back through the wall. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like all of it was covered. So kind of looking at that.
Well, plus Naruto has the healing factor from the Nine Tails as well. So I don't know how that would interact with this because it's like damage over time, right?
Yeah.
Like with Naruto's Nine Tails chakra cause him to heal faster than Mei could kill him, or would it just like slow it down so that like Naruto's only taking like a little, like netting a little bit of damage overall at a time, like something like that I think is worth considering too.
Yeah. I don't think he's just eating a lava style if he gets hit, because Mei's lava style can just like affect Madara's defense as well. Like he's not brushing that off, but I do think he would be able to dodge it. Chojuro is just like, bro, he's sweating because Sasuke beat up Zabuza at this point in the series. He's not like Chojuro's power fluctuates greatly just depending on his confidence. So like an example I choose is like he's like shitting bricks at this like guy who beat Zabuza in his eyes, to going to just like impressing a QB Naruto clone of the war because he's feeling more confident. And then like he's not going to be that confident here. Nothing's going to be apparent. Like he's not going to be able to perform crazy. And then this is also evident because like he's not even able to really get like the Zetsu off of him in the same degree. So it's like kind of looking at it like that. Chojuro's not too relevant, and like Kakashi's cooking Chojuro. There's not too much there. I wouldn't really expect. He's gonna be shook when he finds the dude who actually killed Zabuza. That's the bigger one. He's gonna be actually shook. So,
yeah, it's gonna be two guys who beat Zabuza plus the guy who beat Pain. Like it's not a good look. And the other thing too about that attack he hit Sasuke with, even if he hits Naruto with it, I just don't think it would damage him, because like it sent Sasuke flying into another room, but the Susanoo was fine.
Yeah. Sasuke didn't really take that much damage from it. So, and he was like, even after it, he's more so noting the drawbacks from his MS.
Yeah, he's like, wow, the Susanoo is hurting me big time. Like, he doesn't like take any mental notes about like, oh wow, that Chojuro kid's strong. He's just like, damn, how'd Itachi do this Susanoo thing? So I think that Naruto would be totally fine. I actually think it's way worse for him if like things don't go that way. Like if Chojuro doesn't send him into the other room with Mei, then he has to fight like Onoki, Mei, Chojuro, Kuretsuchi, like all of them at like the same time. And I think that's more of a problem for Naruto. Like you said though, this kind of limits Mei's ability to do anything because she can't do her like AoE acid mist. So she really just has to try to hit like Naruto, Kakashi, Yamato with lava style or something while they're fighting Onoki. But the other thing about this is even though they have to fight more people at the same time, this also inhibits Onoki's ability to fight, because Onoki has to be careful with his like particle style cube so that he doesn't end up hitting multiple people at the same time, So like if Naruto sticks close to Mei, or like Kakashi does it or something, I don't think any of them you would be able to argue would like know to do this, because I don't think any of them have seen particle style before this. So like it would have to be through like dumb luck that they happen to be close to one of Onoki's allies. But if any of them do stick close, then Onoki will have to he won't be able to use particle style against them.
Yeah. The best way I can describe it is like this room, no one's really going to use their like big bolo AoE attack. Like Naruto's not going to just chuck a Rasen Shuriken at the floor and friendly fire Kakashi and Yamato. Maybe if they stayed out of the room, he might do that. But it's kind of a similar principle here where like this does cut both ways, where then you kind of get into like Onoki's physicals versus this Naruto. And I've talked about this before, but I don't think the Onoki that we see in the summit is really the one we see in the war that's like regaining his will of stone, the one that hasn't forsaken himself against like Madara and stuff like that. Like there's a clear character difference, and we do know like mental states can vastly fluctuate your power, how strong you are in Naruto, as like half of your mock-up, if like your chakra is your mental state. It's a mock-up of your physical and mental energy. So it does matter, and that does like kind of factor into this, because you're kind of left in a weird place with this Onoki to where like he's just more so displayed to be like this Data arrival. He's able to like keep up with Data in the air, and Onoki's noted to be faster in the air than like some of Data's explosions that Akatsuchi couldn't really react to. So looking at it like that, it's a little weird. But one of the better win cons for Onoki is maybe just like using weighted boulder on Naruto and then like flying outside the summit and just shooting a particle style at him to keep him in one place. But it's a really weird room, because like everybody kind of can't use their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think Kakashi's one of the better people in this room as well. Just like, he's going to be able to close range Raikiri people. Yamato can wood style suppression. So it's like, it's possible for Mei and Onoki to win. They just can't use their best moves, it almost seems like. So, I mean, honestly speaking, like, it is possible Naruto could just lose out right here, but I feel like he should be able to just get past this room if Onoki and Mei can't use their better moves. You guys agree with that? You guys, what you guys think about that?
Plus Kakashi doesn't really have anything stopping him from using Kamui on them and like sniping one of their heads off or something. So I think they should be good.
It's pretty clear, especially from like the way we've been explaining. I think we've been explaining pretty well. All three of these guys are making it out of every room. Like they're not getting held up like Suigetsu and Jugo did whenever Sasuke, blew up the room him and Raikage were fighting in. So I think Naruto would be fine to make it out of this room. Same with Yamato and Kakashi.
Kind of leads us into like the last matchup, which is like Naruto versus Danzo, Fu, and Torne. And just, again, assume what we said before, like his Sage Mode replenishes, he's able to get a new charge because they chase Danzo down, Kakashi rides on Naruto's back, whatever, I don't really care. We're in this scenario now. This is a bit more interesting. I'll start with Fu and Torne versus like Danzo or Kakashi and Yamato, because I kind of see how that fight would go. I think Kakashi and Yamato beat them up. I mentioned Yamato previously. The only thing Fu and Torne have is that like they have like an off-screen, like partial screen fight with Obito, which they just lose. And like it's not like Kakashi and Yamato really have to just touch Torne like Obito did. They could just restrain him with wood style, and Kakashi could place him in a Genjutsu, which is exactly what Obito does in the Kamui dimension. So there really shouldn't be that many problems with that encounter. The bigger problem is Danzo. Do you guys think Fu and Torne are worth anything, or do you think we just move to Danzo?
No. Yeah, Kakashi and Yamato got that.
Yeah.
No, 100%. The only thing to be worried about would be Torne's bugs, and like Kakashi and Yamato have multiple ways to block those with like wood walls and earth walls and stuff. So
if anything, the fight ends the same way, just with a different version of Kamui.
Yeah,
exactly. And then moving on, we have Naruto and Kakashi and Yamato versus Danzo. Now,
beginning of this fight would be Naruto versus Danzo. He would have to fight Danzo one-on-one for a little bit while Kakashi and Yamato fight Fu and Torne, but I don't think it would be for that long.
Yeah. They would definitely be able to run out like the Izanagi like 10-minute timer. Probably come into the fight before it runs out, or if Danzo for whatever reason turns it off. I will say, so there's two sides to this. If you go off like the canon stuff we're going with, like Danzo's Kodo would be on recharge here, but if you did give it to him, it's just kind of over for Naruto. There's not really too much. He would just probably like turn Naruto to his side, or just dissuade Naruto, or maybe make him turn off Sage Mode. He's like, listen, turn off Sage Mode. Let's talk about it. I'm going to spare Sasuke. Something along those lines to just give him a W. There is something he can do there. Other than that, though, do you guys have anything on Kodo? Like, I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
So in the anime, it's shown that they can break you out of Kodo Matsukami just like the same way they do normal Genjutsu. That's how they break Mifune out of it. So if you're thinking of it like anime wise, Kakashi might be able to see there's a stream of chakra going from Danzo's eye to Naruto's eye.
That's what I was gonna say.
It.
Yeah. Cause so the thing is with this isn't just in the anime. This is also a manga thing. Danzo has to continually maintain Kodo Matsukami for it to work. It's like Kodo Matsukami. I'm pretty sure is like all the other Mangekyo Jutsu, where like both of the eyes do different things, And the one that Danzo has doesn't work the same way that the one Itachi has, because the one that Itachi has, it's like cast on him once from the crow, and then the jutsu is just active forever. And he like burns the crow dies, and like that's it, right? There's no way for Kabuto to turn it off or anything. The only way for him to get Itachi back under his control is to put another talisman in there, which would override the commands being issued by Kodo Matsukami. But with Danzo, he has to keep it maintained, because like that's how Ao is able to catch him using Kodo Matsukami on Mifune, is like seeing that the jutsu is active, that there's a lot of chakra being fed to Danzo's eye. So if Kakashi and Yamato are able to like attack Danzo, or they might be able to stop Kodo Matsukami from being used, but they would have to fight Danzo and Naruto at like the same time. The other thing though about Kodo Matsukami is the way they break Mifune out of it is just by like telling him that he's being influenced by it. So I was
gonna bring this up.
I don't know how strong this version of Kodo Matsukami is. If it's just Naruto versus Danzo and there's no one there to interfere, then obviously Naruto just loses and goes over to Danzo's side. But it becomes a lot more complicated with Kakashi and Yamato present there.
I agree with all of that.
One argument I could see against Kodo Matsukami having two different versions is that Danzo is telling Mifune what to say. Like he's like, support the leaf, throw my name in there or something like that. As opposed to Itachi, who just got the vague command of protect the leaf village. That might be an argument against it, but it just seems like it works the other way. Like one eye gives commands, the other eye is like constant control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I love that. And so that kind of like is the little Kodo segment. And then so that kind of like whatever you think on that, that kind of like goes with whatever way you think this discussion goes. And then you kind of get into like Sagemo Naruto versus Danzo. I think Sagemo Naruto has a really good matchup against Danzo. I think it kind of goes similarly to where he's just killing him over and over again. Danzo is somewhat comparable to Sasuke outside of his Susanoo, but a lot of their interactions are weird. Like his best two showings, in my opinion, are when he dodges like a Susanoo fist, and he's able to tag Sasuke when he's like falling off his bird and stuff like that. So those are like his, and we know Sasuke's like willing to take damage in combat, so you can even argue like maybe Sasuke just did this on purpose to get a mutual strike. But it kind of gets in a weird situation where I think Sagemo Naruto would physically be able to just like keep killing Danzo over and over. I don't even think necessarily like Rasen Shuriken is that relevant, since like Danzo's just dying to Susanoo fist, that like fighters like Mei can just survive from like wood clones and stuff like that. So I don't think physically he's that strong, like durability wise, to the point where Naruto's gonna struggle putting him down. It's mainly the Izanagi respawns that are going to be issues for him, because even when Karen is on the battlefield and like avidly like sensing the battlefield, she's not able to just perceive when Danzo's respawning. Like he's just respawning and she's not able to predict it. She's not able to like give Sasuke fair warning. Same thing with Sasuke. So those are probably the biggest issues. But like even then, like I don't even necessarily see if I have any. I don't know if I can necessarily see Danzo having anything in his arsenal to like permanently put down Sagemo Naruto, like his vacuum blade or his vacuum blast. I don't know if these attacks would even be enough to just like bypass like Sagemo Naruto's durability. It's kind of a little weird. I mean, at the very least, if you want to say they do damage, it's fine. But again, like Naruto has a good matchup. He can just make clones to watch his back for say Izanagi respawns. Maybe one of the better arguments is that Danzo just gets a hold of him and places a seal on him. The seal he places on Sasuke is really weird because Sasuke just kind of like DBZ powers up through it. Like his body just gets stronger and it's able to like acclimate and like adapt to the seal. So it's like, how does Naruto's Sage Mode interact with that? Could he just like avidly gather nature energy to like bypass the seal?
That's what I was gonna say, because the seal like makes him like stable. So like it's just a really, really, really bad like jutsu to use on Naruto, because he'd just be able to gather like tons and tons and tons of sage energy and like use that power to like bust out of the seal, I think. And even if not, since Kakashi and Yamato are there, that's the real thing that makes a win impossible for Danzo here. Because I think that Danzo loses to Sage Naruto in a one-on-one. But Sage Naruto, Kakashi and Yamato, like, like that's just a joke.
Yeah.
You know, saying that
Yeah.
Danzo could be all three of them together. The only real potential win condition that Danzo has here is Kodo Matsukami, which, again, you probably wouldn't have if this is like the same timeline where, you know, he used it on Mifune and he got caught. It would be on recharge. But even if he did have it, he would turn Naruto to his side, and then Kakashi and Yamato might be able to like interrupt the jutsu and get Naruto back. I think that is Danzo's best shot, but even then, I don't know if it's like a surefire win for him. So I think that overall, like Team Naruto, Kakashi, and Yamato just take the win here.
Yeah. I mean, one of the last things I would just bring up as well is that even if Danzo like does that, you know, AoE, I'm gonna seal everybody inside of me, everyone's gonna dodge it because like fatigue, like end of Sasuke, like Summit could dodge it and so could Obito. But Kakashi could also just Kamui that. Like he could just send Danzo into the Kamui dimension. So there's no real threat that
Could
Danzo
you
really
imagine if
poses.
like Obito was busy doing something else and like Kamuiing through something and he just got hit by the Danzo suicide seal?
Yeah, it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. So like Naruto just has better support on top of just being like comparable to like a more stronger Sasuke. So he should just do well in the Summit. He has a really good arsenal, really good AoE. Probably the biggest issue he has is like the Raikage section, like Raikage Gaara, how soon Gaara shows up, like that whole section. I think that's his biggest obstacle on how you interpret that fight goes. Everything else, though, I think like Naruto just kind of like runs through and steamrolls. Like I think they do have a pretty good time. Part of it's due to the location. Part of it's due to like the forms of the characters being present during the Summit. But overall, I think he does do very well and should be able to clear. Do you guys have any closing thoughts, or what do you think?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
I think we explained it pretty well. Pretty thorough.
Yeah, and we didn't even bring up Naruto summons for the Danzo fight either. Like if Danzo tries to pull out what is it, Baku? The giant boar, I think he's just getting bullied by Gamabunta and the other two summons.
Yeah, that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know, let me know. Like and subscribe. Don't sub to these, bro. I'm starving out here, bro. Forget these dudes. They got something.
Subscribe to me. Do not subscribe to 6.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing.
Dude,
I'm playing.
I hit 100K. I'm fine.
Yeah.